being here. So Swamini Amritananda is based in Auckland at the moment, but she is the teacher for Auckland and Nelson Chinmaya Mission Centers, heading the activities across the New Zealand. She is from Auckland, and give you a bit of a background as how she get into this Vedantic knowledge or her journey. That at the age of 10, Swaminiji had lost her father, and she found herself with many unanswered questions regarding the life and death. So these unanswered questions later kindle the embers of spirituality in her mind, and soon that leads her to seeking answers to the shore of India. Destiny brought her to Swami Chinmayananda at first time in Melbourne, where she attended spiritual sessions. Further, she found herself registering for the camp in Siddhabadi, Himalayas, in India. Finally, in 1984, her determination and destiny brought her to Siddhabadi, where she met Swami Chinmayananda. Her journey continues as Brahmacharini Bhakti Chaitanya, and she then found her home in Nelson. That's in 1995. So from 1995, Swaminiji is based in Nelson, taking the classes, the yoga sessions, meditation sessions for the people, for the small group in Nelson. In 2008, Swaminiji was given a sannyas diksha, and her name, and then she came to be known as Swamini Amritananda. So she continued to run the activities. She was until early this year, she was coming to Auckland frequently to conduct the meditation sessions and yoga sessions. But now from January, she is spending more time in Auckland. So we're really very lucky that that she is now conducting our adult classes as well. She has done 3 or 4 meditation workshops. They're still going on. So if you want to find out more, you can talk to us after this workshop. And today, as you can see there, Swamiji is going to have a workshop on how to lead a Dharma-based life. So I will hand over to Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om, everyone, again. So you had a good session this morning. You were very clear in your mind what Dharma is. Huh? Who said not?
I said no.
No?
No.
Okay. Hopefully this session will make it become more clear. Workshops are about you also working and discussing with each other. That's what a workshop is all about. Okay? So just briefly, what did you get from this morning's session? The meaning of the word Dharma means to uphold, something which sustains the society. What else?
To reform ourselves. But knowing ourselves and reform ourselves.
Yes, reforming ourselves. Integration. These are all the key words about Dharma. But actually, where does Dharma actually come from? It comes from our Shastram. And Shast means to command. It also means to teach. So commanding is what is necessary first. Not actually commanding, telling you what to do, but gently telling you that this is the right path. Shriyas. This is the right path that we should be going on. And so in the beginning, we need to be told what to do, isn't it? And then after being told what to do, then the teaching starts. We can be taught then. Okay, so it's like a mother, first she tells the child what to do and what not to do. And then once that sinks into the child, then she starts teaching the child. The teachings can happen. So Shastras are like that. It's a body of literature, Vedas, that tells us how to live in this world in the right manner. And so I have chosen some values that represent Dharma. And these values are in the Shastras. And so on the tables, there are different values there. And I want you to all discuss what you think, what values should be up the top, and then why. So you might get 2 or 3 values that you think are maybe this one and that one, okay? But then discuss it, and then we'll go around and there'll be one speaker who can speak for you all on each table. We'll discuss it and then we'll bring it out.
I talk about that kshama, that forgiveness is actually bliss. If somebody hurts us, it makes us angry.
Yes.
But if you forgive them, you forget everything. You become compassionate.
Okay, good. Thank you. So if you take all of these, discuss, and then put them in order if you can. And then we'll see what happens. So it's a practice that will remind you of something, plus it's a practice that you can take away with you as well. So we're trying to achieve 2 things in this workshop. Okay, to think about one of these values or 2 of these values, put them into your life, practice them, take them away with you. Okay? So, off you go. I'll give you 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can. I'm sure we are born using the Shama as that.
Okay, so can you speak now?
So from our group, so the arrangement goes as follows. So we have Vidya first, and then compassion second, followed by non-violence, Shama, Dhritti, and then Sukha. Reasoning behind it was that knowledge. So we took the example of a child where until the age of 5 or so, they don't really know what is the right and wrong unless they're told, right? So you'll see them, if there's an ant walking, you'll stop the ant. If there's a mosquito on, they'll just slap the mosquito, or they'll fight with their siblings and so on. But as they get a little older, they start to realize compassion. And that's because they've just realized a small piece of knowledge which they have obtained. So with that, then they don't fight anymore, or they sort of think before they smash the mosquito or swat the ant. Again, if they have a fight, then they are more likely to forgive simply because of that small knowledge, a piece of knowledge, which then also gives them forbearance for future situations, to withstand future situations better, which then helps them, which then gives them a longer lasting sense of happiness. But another thing that we were talking about is that the happiness is also there. It's always there. It's just these are tools that help us realize that happiness, which is already present. So when we say, doing this will get me happiness, we actually mean that it's there. It'll just help us see the happiness that is.
Very good. Thank you. there's no right or wrong in this. Huh? It's just what I just want you to express and think about these values in your life. So anything with...
So we similarly put video knowledge at the top. We've made a beautiful symmetrical shape. Symmetry is important. So video knowledge at the top, because knowledge, we absolutely agree, underpins kind of everything. What we put second was sort of ability or fortitude or forbearance, because as we talked about, the discipline to be able to act on the knowledge that we have is really important. And because if you have the knowledge but you aren't able to actually apply it, its ability to actually count as knowledge. Do you know something if you don't do it? It's that kind of balancing act. Then on equal footing we have compassion and forgiveness and just because those are inherent human traits that enable us to both when applied to ourselves and to others achieve the notions of the non-injury and the non-violence and at the bottom we have happiness, which feels kind of counterintuitive because that's what we're aiming for a lot of the time. But with the non-injury and the non-violence and happiness, they're quite causal. They are related to other things happening. And so to put something that you aren't really in control of at the top of the tree means that actually achieving that becomes really hard, because to get there you need all of the other things in place to get there. Yeah, building blocks to get all the way through. So that was
Very good. Thank you.
So we didn't have a very clear priority list, so to speak, and we had quite a bit of debate and discussion about how this would flow. I think there was some strong favor of Vidya being at the top, again on the basis that is the sort of core building block to understand what you do and you don't do in life, and that's kind of your guiding principle, which made sense to me. I'm just going to personalize this because we didn't have a precise answer. I thought Sukha also was sat alongside Vidya, because I looked at it as a objective or an end, well, not an end point, but what are we working towards? What's the end goal, so to speak? It's Sukha. So to me, the objective and the tool sort of sit alongside each other. That's kind of how I see it. And then below that we had fortitude and forbearance, and underneath that we had compassion and forgiveness sitting alongside each other. And that logic was based on the idea that you need to be able to withstand a difficult or painful situation for you to be able to analyze it and then exercise the qualities of forgiveness and compassion. And one of the members of the team thought perhaps ahimsa should be the starting point, which isn't that kind of the core principle that you should exercise and live your life by? And then another view was that it perhaps sits beside fortitude and forbearance, in the sense that you would stand a difficult situation, but you also exercise the principle of non-injury and non-violence towards the people or involved in a difficult situation. So it's interlinked with forbearance in that way. So that's kind of how we saw things moving. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, now I just want you to turn to your neighbour and discuss what you could implement into your life from one of these values now. What do you need to go out and work with with one of these values. So just for a couple of minutes. Two.
Well, I might still look at more.
Okay? Russ, Hario. Okay, can we have just one of you each speaking on what we just discussed? So you.
Okay. So out of everything, I've decided to go with you, which I would like to incorporate in my life, because that is one thing which I think I ran away from everything. I mean, like every time you face a hardship or a hard situation, instead of escaping that, face it and try to achieve something out of it, and that makes you a better person. And also, eventually, it will lead to the all other qualities where, like, you experience something out of giving, like for example just taking anything seriously, or when you have a hard project like I was explaining to her, instead of running away from that, and not trying to be a perfectionist, at least trying to achieve 10%, 20% out of it. You gain something out of every experience or every situation that you come across in your life, and so going through that and learning something out of it and becoming a better person is what my version, and which I would like to practice more in my life. And that is the best example of coming here today as well, which I've skipped a lot of sessions, and today I'm learning out of something new and getting everyone's opinions.
Good.
So, yeah.
That's good. So that's Vidya.
Yeah.
But Vidya is self-knowledge. If I know more about myself, I will be able to integrate myself much more easily into the community, into this world, etc. So the key thing with Vidya is going back towards my own self, my own true nature. So, and once I get into that, then all of these other things will just simply manifest within that being effortlessly. Okay, so Vidya is the key, but it is also the key to self-knowledge, and that is what we're all here for, is to know more and more about my own true nature, that existence, knowledge and bliss, Satchitananda, and that Aham Brahmasmi, that eventually I have that vision of oneness, and it is the Vidya that will give us that experience of oneness. So who's next?
We had three. We had Sukha, Driti, and Shama. Sukha, my friend, is still searching within her. She's got it, but she can't hold it for too long. So that's where Sukha came in the picture. And Driti and Shama was the forbearance side of things, when things are happening. My tolerance level is not the highest. So, and because their forbearance did not go really well, the Shama is within, but not practiced outside. So those were our three key ones.
Very good. Okay. And the Vedas are saying that your true nature is happiness. So this happiness has to be related to knowledge. Okay, the next one.
Driti.
Driti. Driti is fortitude and forbearance. That's what we all need to really use in our daily life, is the ability to be able to forbear, Driti. God, give me the ability to be able to forbear this problem, that problem, whatever. So Driti we need to really strengthen. Again, that Driti will only be strengthened through vidya. Okay, we'll just move on to the next one.
I actually had forbearance as well. I was reflecting, and I think like fortitude and the ability to bear hardship, that quality was strong, but forbearance in terms of taking a step back from a situation was harder for me. And I invest and react too quick.
Yeah, too quickly.
And that actually...
And don't worry, the whole world is reacting only.
Yeah.
No.
But that was also because, my logic was also because if I don't do that, then the forgiveness becomes a lot harder to exercise. Because you're judging the people and the situation.
And with this, Dhritti, always remember that the tide comes and the tide goes out. It will never remain the same. And that's a good thing, that you're actually stepping back from it and becoming that witness to everything around you. But at the same time, being able to apply yourself to work, relationships, family, etc. But having the ability to actually take a few steps back and just see the situation makes a huge difference. So that needs to apply that into your practice. Okay, can we go to your table?
We spoke a lot about compassion and forgiveness, between space and our reactions to things, so that we can actually use one of them and use our knowledge to actually react in ways that are more useful, but also to apply that compassion and kindness to ourselves as well when we do not do things. And to take that knowledge and learn and apply it. So, yeah. So, very challenging thing for me, but it's definitely highlighted ways that I can work on it.
And compassion comes easy when you can see the other person as your own self. Huh?
Yeah.
When you see everything as your own self, naturally there's a compassion, isn't there? When we look at all the saints and the sages and from time gone by, we can see that they're full of compassion. That is the thing when you see, like Jesus Christ himself, Buddha, Krishna, Rama, all of them, Swami Chinmaya Swami Tejomayananda, they're just full of compassion. So when you have that vision of oneness and being able to see the other as your own self, so then the subject and the object become one. There's no actual object anymore, and naturally that immense compassion for all beings. And we all have it in us, because whenever we look at something on TV and we see some tragic thing happening in some part of the world, we go, oh, and we really feel for them, isn't it? Or somebody in your family who's going through a hard time. So we all have it within us. We all have these within us. It's just that we need to have the ability to be able to bring them out and really use them and be creative with these values as well. Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, I think that they're all important. They're all equally important in your life, and I would take them all. I mean, everyone applies them depending on their own personality, whatever makes sense. In particular, it might be, forgiveness because of this event or that event or something like that. But I don't have a particular one for me personally. Personally, I'd take them all.
Yeah. That's what we're meant to do, is take them all. But even if we have one strong one, all of these will come into it.
Yeah.
Huh? If you have compassion, you've got to have dhritti, forbearance, isn't it? If you have compassion, you've got to have knowledge and ahimsa, all of that. Even if you take one, all the others will come into it, all those other values.
We had a common, I would say, karuna and shama, which is compassion and forgiveness. I think the reason is you get lots of opportunities in your daily life to practice these two, which is actually help your mind to get rid of a lot of impressions that we carry on. So that's sort of important, and that leads to the again ahimsa, not just the physical, but at a mental level as well. Thought of not having that, and then that leads to happiness. So just based on how we live our life and be involved in a lot of other situations, different situations, and we've got control on compassion and forgiveness if we practice them. And as you say, they are like complementary. So, and I think I like the example that sometimes we discuss. So I think I just requested the tea one.
Yeah, it's the example is like we drop sometimes tea in our clothes or something, clear straight away. But we have so many things in our mind, for how many years long, and we never try to clear that. We never try to forgive the people.
Yeah.
So
We hang
you
on.
have this, it will help you to practice. Put it that in a practical life.
Yeah. And also, with forgiveness, when there's true forgiveness, you don't even think about forgiving that other person. It doesn't even enter your mind. That's what we have to aspire for, is to, even we hang on to things so much, like one of those barnacles on the bottom of the ship, just hanging on, until like a guru, the Shastras will come and scrape. It'll drop off. But the thing is, with a realized soul, or one who is merged with that, a master, say, the word forgiveness, Shama, wouldn't even enter their mind. But for us, it's good that we keep practicing forgiveness, not only others, but for our own self.
Yeah.
We have to forgive ourselves first before we can have any kshama for anyone else.
Sometimes we forgive, but we can't trust the person.
Sometimes we forgive and we don't forget either. We remind that person, like, your husband or someone, okay, I forgave you, but that was 10 years ago. But you have to keep reminding them. Remember?
So forgiving is actually, doing to yourself, not to anyone else, which we need that.
And the capacity to be able to let go. And that's where driti comes in, forbearance, is actually to be able to, let that go. Our minds just like to hang on to and stick to things, instead of giving it that space and spaciousness. Did you have? Are you somebody?
Yes,
Dhruti?
But why does it stick? Was it because the pain was so severe?
Yes, and also because of
so bad?
vidya. Knowledge is not there. It hasn't taken root in the mind. So that's where self-knowledge has to come into it. If there's self-knowledge, there wouldn't be such a thing as forgiveness, and also forbearance, driti, wouldn't be there.
It also seems that the negative things stick more
Yeah,
strongly than and we only think about that.
You can see a beautiful sunrise and you can think about that, but as soon as somebody texts a message on your phone, it's not so, you will just keep thinking and keep generating more and more thoughts about that, rather than going back to the sunrise and remembering how beautiful that was. That special interconnection that you had with nature then, but somebody sends you a few words and it changes your whole. Not only that, you build up that of mentality again and emotional stuff that keeps hooked into that.
So that only can be subdued by vidya.
By self-knowledge, yeah. Self-knowledge, and then I'll come back to that. So anybody on this table with?
We also thought mainly compassion, but I was thinking that we should also think about ahimsa and forgiveness, mainly because now if we look in the world, there is so much of ahimsa and violence going on, and what actually people sometimes seem to overlook, and I see that he's pointed it out, is that basically whatever negative thoughts we have towards somebody else, the person who is affected the most is yourself. And that's why I think there should be ahimsa towards yourself first. Then you can see that there is ahimsa towards everybody else too, because it's affecting you the most. And that's why I feel that ahimsa should be given equal importance and to practice, and also kshama, because what is happening is, like somebody else was saying, we keep dwelling on the things, and we keep dwelling on the things because we haven't actually forgiven them. We're just trying to say, okay, we've forgiven you.
We
but
say it.
basically it's hurting us so much, we are not able to let go. And in that way, indirectly, again, we are hurting ourselves more. Whoever has done whatever has done, they are fine, because it doesn't really bother them, they've forgotten about it. But it's us who go on dwelling on it, and that's the reason why. And I think also, as far as vidya goes, I think sometimes it depends on which stage of life you are in. To some extent, after reaching a particular stage in life, I feel most of us know who we are, but the other negative qualities are just clamping onto who you are. So you just have to clear that fog of the negative qualities and realize that you yourself are there first.
Yes.
That's what my thought is.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll go further. Though through knowledge we learn to forgive, the forbearance comes to us, and that knowledge itself gives us where to forget the wrong negative things, and where to remember the good things which comes to us and make us happy. So all the values are integrated. If we integrate all the things along with the knowledge which we have learned, I think we will have happy life.
Anyone else?
I have a question on ahimsa. So, even if you're because just what you said about how if you have one of the qualities, then the other qualities will develop. So, is ahimsa? You can kind of, you can just not harm anyone, right? Like intentionally, at least you can just try your best not to harm anyone, but you can still have that lack of forgiveness inside of you, even though you're practicing one of the qualities.
Then it wouldn't be ahimsa, because ahimsa starts from the thought, word and deed, physically. So then it wouldn't be ahimsa. If you're not harming someone, but you're thinking, oh, I wish I could have, really, I wish I could have done that. So then that wouldn't be ahimsa at all.
That makes sense.
I think what just stands out is working on one kind of means working on all.
And you know what? The secret is of all of them becoming mature within us. It is this.
Bhakti.
It is bhakti. In the center, everything goes around bhakti, and Dharma is love. if you're living a dharmic way of life, then you're spreading the fragrance of love everywhere. So, Dharma equals love, bhakti. So all of them, to gain self-knowledge, you have to have bhakti. You have to have love for that knowledge. You have to have love for yourself, and that will naturally come out as expressing as happiness, sukha. And from that sukha, it is that joy of loving. There's no happiness without love. Isn't it? Even in the material world, in the objective world, even if you love food. But we're talking about love of the self, love of everything around us and every being, loving this world, loving nature, loving one another as my own true self only. And if I can do that, then of course there's forbearance. I can forbear anything that comes to me if I am filled with that love. And forgiveness wouldn't even be there. Your mind wouldn't even go to Gachama. It wouldn't even go there. Person did something wrong or said something wrong. No. The incredible acceptance that would be there and openness when one's heart is filled with love. And of course, compassion for all beings, not just for a certain group of people, anything like that, but compassion for life, because you are life itself. You don't have a life, you are life. And in that life itself is that love. And then ahimsa, non-injury, wouldn't even have that opposite, to injure somebody or anything like that. So the very essence of Dharma is bhakti. And that was interesting. It wasn't mentioned, I don't think, this morning. But the very essence of Dharma is love. And if you just give me a moment, I will read something that Puja Gurudev has said. All weaknesses are transmuted into strengths when the right spiritual values are accepted and the seeker takes the daring resolve to live the spiritual quest. Live your life continuously, all the 24 hours, in the consciousness of the divine and the supreme, the true and the eternal. Play this game of life. Play the part to which you have been called on stage. But do not forget the greater mission in life, the greater goal that is to be achieved, is that infinite love. Live in kindness, love and understanding. As our Gurudev had said that. So, if you can remember, the essence of Dharma is bhakti. Nothing else. And from all of that comes these values. If we live these values, we have to have bhakti there. Love has to be there. You can't have compassion without love. You can't have forbearance without love. You can't have happiness without love, or shama without love. You can't forgive somebody unless you truly love them. You can't forgive yourself unless you love yourself. And karuna, compassion, is love only. So the essence of them all is bhakti. And that's actually what the world is lacking now, is bhakti. So that's what we have. We have to get back to loving, simply just loving. And then when we love, we're living that fullness of a dharmic way of life. That is the true Dharma. Okay, any questions?
What if the lack of one of the things, in my experience, it covers over the bhakti? So like a lack of forgiveness can cover over your love that might have been originally there for a person is just filled with resentment instead. So how do we uncover that and bring love back?
You have to keep going back to vidya, because vidya is also discrimination. You have to use your discrimination, not discriminating objects or anything, but vivek and vairagya have to become very strong in the spiritual seeker. When you know through your vivek what is real, what is unreal, what is right, what is wrong, what is permanent, what is impermanent. When you get really established in your vivek, then naturally things will loosen off. But it's we have to work on ourselves. Each individual has to work on themselves. And so it's not going to be like, okay, I'll do this or that. It's a lifetime remembering. It takes a lifetime to become established in it. But the joy is there. The journey is joyful. So just remember your vivek, which comes from Brahma Vidya. And when you have that vivek there, knowledge will come, and then the forgiveness will be there, slowly. Remember, this is like, we're like a stone, and slowly the ocean is coming over that stone and just moulding it into a nice smooth stone. But that takes a long time, because the ocean is just gently moulding it. Okay, and so with all of these, we have a much broader vision of life. It's not just a narrow little vision. Our vision is much broader. And the more that we know, the more sukha is there. The more that I know about my true nature, my true self, which means about all of us, the more happiness is there as well, the more joy. So there is nothing like the spiritual path where you can experience that freedom, that joy, and that becoming integrated, and feeling that your everything is being upheld by that Dharma through love. The substratum of Dharma is love. And we just have to get back to that slowly, get back to that. And our Gurudev said, even so, you might think that, oh no, he used to say that there, in each and every one of us, there is enough love to flood the entire world. We think we only have love in us for one or two people. And that might be a cat and a dog or a bird. But at the most about five objects or people or pets or something. And then, that's it. That's our love. Can you imagine? You have enough love within you to flood the entire universe.
I have a question there. If you can't love yourself, how can you spread the love? Because everyone carries
That's what
pain.
you first have to get back to. is knowing yourself, and that comes from vidya. Not this ego self. Ego self we know very well. But our true self, we don't know. So we have to keep going back to that through satsang, through our own sadhana, through our own practice. Getting re-established in that, not the not self. So
then if everything is non-permanent, then
there has to be something that is permanent to uphold all this impermanency. That's what you have to find out. That's what we all have to find out. What is the substratum that upholds all this? The rishis have told us that you are that. Tattvamasi, you are that. I have to find that out for myself. I can't just repeat it. And for me to find that out myself, I have to love that knowledge. I have to love self-knowledge for that self-knowledge to reveal itself to me.
So if love is a strata of Dharma, would you say that love is equal to Dharma? No.
Yeah, love is Dharma. Yeah. So thank you all very much. I hope you can take something away from this workshop, and remember to put one of these into practice, and if you can put one in, the very basis, remember, is bhakti, the others will follow. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudakshate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.